So you have to list out all your favorite games.
Hundreds a lot you thought, but there's no room to waste.
Even if you ponder it so very long, someone on the internet will tell you you're wrong. Top 100 games from the A-Team. Top 100 games. Watch us on live stream. Top 100 games. You'll enjoy it too.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Top 100 from the A-Team. This time it is 60 through 51. Punching, clapping, you know, that's how we do it these.
Stomp. We're going to do some interpretive dance.
Yeah! I'm Roy Cannaday.
I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yi. I caught it! That was awesome!
I should have caught it.
After this, we will be halfway through with the Top 100. How does that make you feel?
50% done.
50% done. There's excitement, there's joy, there's tears of sadness.
We're getting into the part where I actually have like crossovers from my previous lists.
Oh, I thought you were saying we're getting to the point where I actually like these games.
Right, yeah.
I'm
that
stoked
too.
for less rolling rights. No.
I think I have my first rolling right today.
Dang it!
It's not the day.
You had Draftosaurus, which is almost.
It is
I figure
absolutely
after the 50,
It's not.
that's when we start.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any less than 50.
That's where we start going for the throat. We're like, you like this game this much?
It's all
Terrible.
heavy
Oh, we
euros and
weren't doing
Ameritrash
that.
from there, depending on
Pretty much.
whose top it is.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, well, I guess we can go ahead and kick it off with our number 60.
Can I kick it? Yes, I can. Number 60 for me is a very, very small box game called Insider. This was on a previous Top 100 I did, number 53. Insider is a small little word game. I really like this, where basically at the table, one person is going to answer questions yes or no, because that person knows a word, one of these words that might be on a card in the middle of the table, and then so they see it and it's face down. Everyone else is trying to play 20 questions, basically. Answer yes, no questions. I answer yes or no. But one person at the table also knows what the word was. And so it's like a social deduction game, because that one person is trying to get the team to not guess it correctly.
Yes.
But if they're too obviously driving the questions away from what the actual answer is, then at the end of the round, everybody gets to call out the one betrayer at the table.
Most likely.
It's a concept, it's a strange concept. Word game, social deduction game, plays in like 5 minutes or so, or 4 minutes or something. It's really fun. This is one of my favorite end of the night, like at a long convention kind of things. Like a game that you're not taking too seriously, you're just kind of winding down and just shooting the breeze and having fun, accusing people wildly and guessing and stuff. So fun. I really like this one. Insider, my number 60.
I really enjoy my plays of this. I just need to play it more. I haven't played it that much, but it was fun.
It's probably, no, I shouldn't say probably. This is definitely my favorite Oink game. It comes in that little...
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
it's a tiny game too.
That's
Okay,
cool.
Very cool. Nice.
I mean, if it's beating Hey Yo, then it has to be amazing.
Hey! All right.
All right, my number 60 is a racing game, a pirate racing game. It is Jamaica. In Jamaica, I really like this game because each player has 2 cards, and
Just be honest, you like it because you can fight.
you do fight. Yes, you do, and there's gold, and it's fantastic. So each time you're trying to, you roll some dice, two dice, and then you choose which die you're going to assign to which action, either the left side of the card or the right side of the card. And so then you play the card, and then everyone will take that action as well. So it's a racing game. You're trying to get to the end, but you also can end up at the same location together, and you can fight, and you want gold, and there's treasure, and there's conflict and combat. Never blood, but yes, Jamaica. It's a racing game. It's pretty light. It's probably my favorite racing game, I'm thinking.
How many cars flip and burst on fire?
Cars? What? It's pirates.
Pirates.
What?
How many pirates flip and...
Cars on the high seas.
That's my favorite part
are
of Pirates of the
fired as a
Caribbean.
pirate.
Is when the Ford Pinto just explodes and
Your
takes down the
pirate
Black
card got
Pearl.
revoked.
Fast and Furious of the South Seas.
Yeah. Bring out the Edsel.
There you go.
Yeah, so my number 60 is Jamaica.
Okay, so my number 60, I'm really distracted because this is a game that I would describe as a 20 questions game. And I would describe it as a great game for playing really late at night at a convention, but it's not Insider. It's Werewords.
It's the same game.
Is it the same game?
Basically.
It's basically the same game, right?
This one has werewolves.
This one has an app.
This one has an app. It's social deduction. Now, if I'm not correct, this one...
If you're not correct.
This one, the werewolf is trying to get people to guess the word or not trying to get people to guess the word?
You're not
it's
correct.
Still not, right?
This is why I like Insider more than Werewords. Werewords has secret roles and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's you can have a seer and you can have all those werewolf trappings. But I never, it's a little less straightforward.
Less clean.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the werewolf is the same thing where they're trying to get the team not to guess
Not
the
to
word.
guess it, but then the Insider is trying to get them to guess it and something. There's something.
Yeah, it's still the 20
The seer.
questions thing.
Not the Insider, this year. Anyways, this is a great game, and I haven't played Insider, I don't think. So
Wow.
now I'll need
That's
to
so strange. They're like
play
the same
better
number.
version, apparently. And
The
it'll
same
just swap
number,
places.
and then there's.
I
Yeah,
know,
that's crazy.
trippy. But there's something great about playing like stupid, light social deduction word games at the end of the night when it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at a convention and you're all exhausted but you don't really want to go to bed because you're tired, but maybe it's like the last night of the convention and you just want to hang out more.
So you say stupid late at night, and I feel like that's like my base level with word games. Like we play these games, it's always like last night, late night of a convention, but that's like just my natural state with these.
But yeah,
So
anyways,
bad.
love it. So Werewords is my number 60. Also probably Insider.
I'm going to count as a crossover. There you go. Great minds think
Cheating
alike.
already.
Roy,
Fantastic.
what's your wrong pick?
Since you guys merged on your picks, I'm going to say Ankh is my number 60.
Is it really?
Hey-o!
Fantastic.
So yeah, I really enjoy
There's
Ankh.
so much meta
Ankh
going
is
on.
an Egyptian-themed game where you're all different gods trying to keep your legacy alive and basically gain followers and go out there and like build up different temples and things like that and gain points during the combat phase and win things over. I really enjoy the combat in this game, how it's deterministic combat, how you have these hands of cards and you're trying to outthink your opponent. And sometimes you might be trying to actually win the combat. Sometimes you might be having workers set on certain terrain types to get a whole bunch of points when you play your card. And then sometimes you might just be trying to sacrifice all your guys off and have a plague just destroy everything. There's a lot of interesting things that happen in this game, and the fact that you can kind of like build up your different Ankh powers to help you be like temple attuned or be pyramid attuned. And there's a lot of like interesting tricks and strategies in this game that I've really enjoyed. And there's a ton of this game that I haven't even messed with all of the extra boxes and things like that. And I feel like it could go up if I played it a lot more. I really enjoy Ankh and all the variety that's in the game and all the different crazy gods that are in there. So
I feel like we should hold up a sign that says Ankh if you like board games.
exactly.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's a area control, Eric Lang game. I think
Have
like
cards
it's
and pirate games.
there may be more in this trilogy
So we
higher
all
up,
want
but
something.
one's already been talked about, Rising Sun, and it was lower than this, so I enjoyed it.
Oh, I
What
wanna
could
say
be
this is my favorite
higher?
theme
I don't know. Who knows?
of the three. I like this theme.
Nice. And that was my number 60, Ankh.
59, I'm going to consider a spiritual crossover with you, Camilla.
Oh.
Because my number 59 is Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Ah.
Because I haven't tried Zombie City, but
I told you yeah, because we had that conversation, right?
Yeah.
I'll teach you and show it to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
that'd be
it.
awesome. I
Yes.
love
Good.
Escape the Curse of the Temple. Real time, dice chucking cooperative game. This is such a fun, it has this fun sense of exploration. It feels like you're really going places. I love sometimes getting trapped by yourself. You're like, come over and save me. I rolled up all, my dice are all locked up. And
Yeah.
so people come and help out. It's got a great cadence to it, that frenetic 10-minute pace. I think when I play real-time games like this, I think I prefer it when it's just 10 minutes of straight chaos, rather than like the segmented few minutes, take a breather, few minutes, take a breather. I don't know. More of this kind of speaks to me, but
Okay.
it's so simple, it's engaging, it's got a fun theme that I think anybody could relate to if you've seen a fun movie ever in your life.
Right.
you should be able to relate to Escape the Curse of the Temple. My number 59.
Well, the cool thing
love
about Escape, I mean, yes, it's one big chunk of time, right? But it has those 2 intervals where it's like, it changes the pace. It's like, oh, now everyone run back to the center, go back. Right, exactly.
Yes.
So while it's one, it does still kind of break it up.
Still segmented, yeah.
Right, because if it was just one solid chunk, you kind of just get in a rhythm and like, oh, okay, you kind of lose that real-time feel. So I think that was a really smart, design choice in it.
Yeah, and then you're not suddenly surprised by the end either.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
Like, oh, I only made it a third of the way through.
How much time left? 2 minutes, what? You're right, because
Yeah.
you have those checkpoints kind of thing.
And it's
And when
funny
do the
because
cars explode?
Just gonna add cars in every single game.
Everything.
but what I really do like when you get back, you have to go back to that center space, and you hear that gate close sound, and you're like, we're all in here, woo!
Right.
And everyone like looks around the table and takes a second,
Yeah.
and they're like, clock is still going, go!
Like I took too many.
And I think the fact that you get locked up on certain dice and somebody's like way over here locked up, it's like, we gotta get to them and save them! Because if everybody doesn't get out, you lose. So you have to work together really hardcore.
Yeah, it's crazy because then you're sitting there in the zombie one at least, you're sitting there and you're waiting for that second gong so you can re-leave because you have to go back to the center and wait until the gong goes again. So you're like, it's dead silent. Go! As soon as it goes, it's just that you're trying to collect your breath, but you're also holding your breath because you're like, it's coming. Anyway,
Yeah.
Good choice, Chris.
Oh.
All right.
I feel
Yes.
good about it.
Good. My number 59 is another pretty game. This is Canvas. In Canvas, you are an artist and trying to create a really pretty picture. And you're doing that using these, you have a base picture card, and then you're adding different elements to it, I guess, with these clear acrylic inserts into your sleeved base. And so you end up putting 3 together to create this entire picture. Ultimately, you're looking for points, but really, you're just trying to create a really interesting and unique picture. And yes, I've lost multiple times at this game just creating really awesome pieces of art because I was like, yeah, I need a zombie hand coming out of the ground to grab the balloon.
Murderous chaos.
Of course, right. And so it's really fun, and there is that balance of like, oh, do I make this really funny, cool artwork? And I love the titles of it too. I think like a lot of people just look at the art, which is really neat in itself, but then it also names it, and there's just some outrageous titles that come from
Morbid Serenity.
Right, exactly. Just ridiculous, oxymoronic kind of names for the pictures. And so it's fun, it's pleasing, it's very simple and relaxing, but at the same time, it's interactive and interesting, and cool stories come from it, and I don't think I've ever played a game of this where it's kind of like in Manara, where at some point somebody takes their camera out or their phone out and takes a picture, you know what I mean? Just like, oh, this one's hilarious, I want to show so-and-so, I want to remember that, so it's just kind of those memorable moments that are created in this game. So yeah, my number 59 is Canvas.
Nice. Well, my number 59, I have more beef with Chris. I would just like to point this out. I picked another exploration, cooperative, real-time game. It's Magic Maze, though.
Oh.
Okay, the beef is squelched. I was worried for a minute.
You were worried.
It would be
I
hilarious
still.
if she picked Escape
too
Zombies.
close.
For this.
Yeah, hilarious.
A game that she hasn't played.
Especially because I haven't played Escape Zombies.
Just to spite Chris.
This
Just
sounds-
zombies.
I like this theme better, whatever. So Magic Maze is a real-time game where you're exploring around. The great thing about this is that everybody can only go a certain direction. So we're trying to move pawns so that they can get to exits and they can escape and stuff. But what is it, a mall or something like that? They want to escape the mall?
We're shoplifting.
The magic mall maze?
Yeah, we're a bunch of fantasy
there's
people who lost
escalators
our
and stuff.
weapons. So we got to
Yeah,
shoplift.
so-
You lost your,
You're running to get your weapons,
obviously
you're trying to
you need to
escape.
shoplift.
Yes, obviously. And the thing is that there are 4 pawns out and everybody's controlling all 4, but you can only move one direction. So I move it left, and I can't say anything to tell Chris that he needs to move it up. I just have to freak out and like stress over the speed because he's worried over here about, the green pawn, and I'm frustrated on the purple pawn. It's like there's so much tension and stress, but it's also exciting. And there's this giant like meatball pawn thing you can stick in front of someone if they're missing something. You can set it there, and that's like the moment. There's a few times that you can reset the little timer throughout it. There's little spaces you can go on and do that. But yeah, it's real time, it's chaos, it's fun and stressful all at the same time.
Have you played this one?
I haven't. It's one I'm not sure about. The limited communication. Like, I've just heard horror stories
Do you
about
not
that
trust
big
other
pawn.
people?
Yeah, I mean, if you start like putting that pawn in front of me, it's end up in front of me.
That is the number one way to ruin someone's first experience playing this
Yes,
game, is to
being
start
rude.
slamming that pawn while they're
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to think about what piece I need to be moving.
It's like saying,
This is great!
Like, shots
Idiot,
will be
idiot,
fired.
idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
And
just
not.
place it in front of someone. That's what the rule book says.
no,
But
but
anyway.
playing this with a good
So
group,
it's
I
like,
really
yeah,
enjoy
and so it's
it.
one of those I'm
Yeah.
a little bit apprehensive about, because I'm like, because I think it's really going to be group dependent and limited communication with that aspect. It's like, oh, it can be really good.
I am one of those people that
Or
sometimes
really bad.
thinks it's funny though to watch people get so annoyed, stressed over the game that I'm just like kind of laughing at them. And I'm like, you're so invested that you're like freaking out over here, and I'm laughing at you because you're clearly making mistakes too.
And you should go right.
I feel like we would not get along. I think you're a game group that I shouldn't play with.
Wendy's the chill person's like, oh, we
like
can
the
lose, it's
chill,
fine.
yeah.
And Camille's like,
She's
no!
laughing at me. And I'm like, ah.
Anyways, that's my number 59, Magic Maze.
My number 59 is Scythe. So this is a game where you're gathering resources out on the board and trying to collect points and like fame and get points in different ways. You can get points through combat, you can get points through building up different things and things like that. One of the things I really like about this game is the fact that all the actions are really quick going around the table, and I really enjoy the combat system in this as well. I like combat in games, I don't know.
We
But
never would
it's-
have guessed, Roy.
Yeah, it's that bidding combat in this that's really cool. It's very similar to the combat that's in Dune, but yeah, you bid, and combat's only one of the ways you can get victory points. You're going out there trying to race towards the middle and get to the factory or whatever as well. But lots of interesting choices and decisions in Scythe. I haven't played I've only played the base game of Scythe, so I haven't played about the expansions or Fenris or any of that stuff. But
You
I
need the
really enjoyed
Exploding
my
Cars
play.
expansion. It's the best one.
There's going to be exploding cars in every single
Every
game.
game.
Exploding mechs, something like that.
Exploding
Yeah.
Kittens
And
expansion.
in this game,
Why not?
mechs can help you get across the river.
See the mechs pick up the cars, throw them
Oh
at
my
the...
gosh.
I actually would
lion
play with
lady.
the Exploding Cars expansion now.
There you go.
Yeah. Range attack.
Scythe, mechs throwing cars. My number 59.
This is
More
one-
than meets the eyes.
This is one of 10, 15 games now that Mike has promised to teach me and has not.
Oh, what a shame. Shame on Mike. Let's all
a good one.
shame him together.
It's a good one.
It is like,
Ooh, Mike
Alright,
Carlson,
good
thanks for running the
shame.
list and not shutting us down.
We appreciate you.
All right, number 58. Oh, I should say, Escape the Curse of the Temple was 66 last time I did my list. And so it moved up 7 slots. Interesting, yeah. I don't know if it's... Okay, anyway, so new to the list, though, new this year,
segue.
is my number 58, a game called Maglev Metro.
Oh.
This is... I don't know if this is going to be on anybody else's list here. I don't think. But it is basically a train game, which... I like train games plenty. I tend to like them when you can kind of build and work off of other people's tracks, but you're not in this game because you're building subways. And the fact that your subway routes can overlap others and go around is just a great thematic touch. By the end of it, it looks like a little subway map. You know, oh, let's take the the D train over here and connect with the C. You're moving around these little robots, and you're moving around passengers for points, but the robots build up your action strength. And I love that you can kind of rearrange what actions you're going to beef up and make stronger. The game moves at a really good pace. You get 2 actions per turn. You can make those actions stronger, or you can level up and get more actions per turn, but then each action won't be as strong, so you're trying to balance out how you want to do it. And I think it's great. I really like this. I'm looking forward to the fact that there's 6 more maps coming out for it, so it's going to be expansion heavy. And these are expansions I actually look forward to, as opposed to a lot of them I'm like, maybe, but yeah, give me more maps. So
okay, yeah. It's one of those good expansions that just,
I'm hoping,
yeah.
You want more Metro maps to look at.
More
So
Metro
you can
maps.
find your way across town.
One of them has golems.
That's neat.
I know. So,
First interesting things you said about this game.
oh, thank you.
it's-
Trains.
It's cool because you just get to upgrade your trains in different ways, or your little things in different ways, and that's the really fun part about it. And you can switch that stuff around and upgrade all your different stats on your.
I
things.
love
It's
it.
really
Yeah,
fun.
it's basically like a role-playing game. Like, oh, I'm
So-
gonna remove dexterity and increase strength.
And then pick up and deliver. But I'm gonna pick up all the people because I can carry all the people and move
Yeah.
them over here.
Yeah, it's like D&D the train game.
Kind
Put
of.
that on the box.
All right, my number 58 is another Ryan Lockett game. So it's gorgeous. It's
gotta play
also
more
in the
of these.
RZM world, but it is not one of the main ones. It is one that I think is grossly overlooked, and it is Rome. Rome is, so the theme behind this one is you are going out into the land trying to look for your lost people, right? And that's represented by these landscapes, this grid in these cards in the middle which have a grid on them, and so it kind of has this area control feel, or area majority feel, I'm sorry, of it, where you have the people that you find are in front of you in your tableau, and they each have some shape on it, and that shape is how you can lay out your pieces on the grid. Once one of those cards in the middle has a piece in every grid, then whoever has the majority in that gets to turn it over, and that represents one of their people that they found, which is then also a new pattern for you to lay out to find more people. And so first person to find 10 people wins. And I really like this because it's like the game you said, the one I hated, that terrible game on your list.
Manhattan?
Yes, it's like Manhattan, but it's good. And like depending on where you're sitting at the table is how it's from your perspective, you know,
Okay.
the layout that you're putting out there. And so I really like that that mechanism, that idea, you know, that is perspective.
Are you able to put your pieces in a space that somebody's pieces already are?
That's a variant. So
Okay.
if someone's piece is already there, you just don't get to put that piece out.
But if you put the piece on top, does that mean you now can?
That's the variant, yes. So then
like
it,
skyscraper.
no, it goes up to 2 max. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're not sorry, and I don't accept your apology. To be completely
I've never
clear.
played either of those games.
Yeah.
So.
So I really like this one. Yeah, again, it's just that perspective, because the map is not necessarily facing you, and so you can see what pattern that person that you get is on the back. And so as you're kind of looking at your people you discover, you're like, man, I really need one that has this diagonal angle. I want to go for that one. So that's a perfect piece, but it's going to be less points, you know. And so it's an interesting area control majority. You know, do you fill up one as quick as possible to get your people, or do you kind of spread out? Because if you have searched at all on one of those things, but you don't win the majority, then you also get coins, which you can buy for special gear, which is going to give you special powers. And so it's it's really simple. You can learn it quickly, but I just think it's a really smooth game, and it's one of, well, it's my number 58, but I think it's really overlooked. You know, it's one of his lesser known or played games, and it's really good.
I like the sound of that compensation mechanism. Wendy and I talk about this all the time. If you can have majorities, if you can have races for things, if you can fail something, include a compensation mechanism. I like that.
Yeah, and I think it does create an interesting element where you do want to have a little bit sprinkled everywhere so you get some compensation, but then go hard on that one you want. But 2 people going for it, so it has kind of that racing, you know. And anyway, so yeah, number 58, Rome.
Awesome. My 58 is one that Camilla taught me. I'm excited about this. This is Spirit Island. So
It made it this high?
Maybe that's high. I'm so excited to play this again. So what happened is I was doing my top 100 list, and I'm going through the library and organizing the games and making them look nice. Hey.
That's us playing at your table.
That's my half-painted copy. Yes. Thanks.
Great.
I recognize that dish. It's mine.
So I was going through the library, and I've been organizing things, and I pulled out the giant copy of Spirit Island that we have, which the box is like almost falling apart. Like there's so many pieces in there. They're so heavy. Tom has these upgraded, beautiful, like glass pieces. Yeah. They're lovely. So I want to play it again with his copy.
Yeah, I know.
His bits are beautiful.
Well, it's because I have 3D printed ones that I'm still carrying on.
Okay.
Yeah, but his are gorgeous.
You
I'm
can
not
be crafty.
His also aren't half painted. Yeah.
But I feel like there needs to be more heavy, good, solid, really thinky co-ops out there, and this is one of them, and I appreciate that. What's interesting about this is that you have your own player power and your own board, and so people can't take your turn for you. They can't coach you through everything. Like, you have to do your own turn. You have to do your own board. You have to take care of yourself and be a big boy, basically. But it is co-op, and you're all working together, and you're helping each other and all that. And so I enjoy that mix and that balance. I've played it one time, and it's on this list. That's how awesome it is. I'm about to play it again.
Good.
So. And for years, we talked about how we really like CO2, and people have said, "Oh, you have to try Spirit Island. Oh, you've probably tried Spirit Island." And I was like, "I don't know what this game is."
Yeah.
And so it lived up to that.
It really is good, and it has so much variability in it. You know, with all the different spirits are so asymmetrical, completely unique. You know, and yeah, I could gush about this, but I'll maybe save that for later.
This would make my list, I think, if I played it again, because I really liked the first play of it, and so I do want to play it more, and I genuinely could be on here next year.
That's my goal.
This is one of the few Cult of the New to me.
Oh, snap.
That's my number 58 is Spirit Island.
My 58, keeping with the mech theme, is Mechs versus Minions. So this is a gigantic game that is really just a cooperative programming game where you have these different mechs that you're running and there's just minions flooding the board and you have different objectives you're trying to do, whether it's get like the bomb from this area to that area or just take out all these different minions. And as the game goes along, you're going to get more things to program your mechs and more weapons to slash and dice up these minions in all sorts of different ways. And it's a super exciting, like, fast-paced game. It is slightly real time as you're programming all the stuff out, but then you flip it over and you're working together, and it's just cool because you're killing off hordes and hordes of these bad guys, and the production of this game is basically just ridiculous, especially for the price point. I think this was one of the first games. I mean, it's made by a gigantic video game company, so they were able to make it that way. But like after this came out, you started seeing more things with game trays, more things with lavish productions, because more people were like trying to like meet that bar, which that bar wasn't nearly that high before, you know. And just the production of this game is ridiculous, and I really have enjoyed it. It's a fun game to play, and it's pretty easy to play. Cooperative game, programming, and it's just fun.
Oh man, we haven't played this for years.
Yeah. And you have played it?
Yeah, we played through the whole campaign and everything.
Okay.
I liked some of the scenarios. I think were way better than others.
Right, for sure.
And so, but yeah, there's a few that I know. Making fun of Mike off screen is so great. Mike has not played this one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike hasn't played it either?
You hasn't played Mechs vs. Minions?
I haven't played it. This has been on my list for a long time.
Ketchupalooza.
It's
That's why I asked,
solid.
like,
You get to like slide through oil.
It's just fun. It's just it's one of those games that's like
literal
cooperative
oil?
and fun. Yeah, your mechs
It's
like slide
shiny
on
the
something. It's
board
like
where the oil is. Yeah.
You can smash
I love
stuff and
textures.
crash into each other.
it's fun when you have a weapon. It's like, oh, I'm surrounded by guys, and you just knock everything out.
your weapon? Oh.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm totally
I feel
want
like
it.
this would be your style of thing, just
It's been
because
on my
you get to
list for a
kill a
long
bunch of
time.
things,
Yes.
like other games.
I
where
could
you get to
see
do
you
that.
sliding around the oil, squishing all these minions to like
Yes.
Blue Danube. Da 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 da.
Exactly. So yeah, my 58, Mechs versus Minions.
Number 57. This is a game about dwarves. Or if you're Mike DeLisio, this is a game about trolls. It's Nidavellir. I love you, Mike, so much. He has the power to turn off my microphone, and he hasn't yet. That's true charity. Okay, Nidavellir
It's just because he'd have to turn them all off.
Yeah, and stream.
Yeah.
No, Nidavellir is a fantastic set collection game. It has a feel almost like an auction, but you're never spending away money or anything. I like that you have 3 taverns all in the middle of the table, and you are assigning these tokens out onto your board to kind of the higher wager you put on there, the sooner you get to draft from that tavern. And the fact that you're assigning 3 of these at once and you're locking them in, I think is the trick that makes this game work more than a lot of other games that do some sort of bid for turn order type set collection thing like this. I also love that you're trying to upgrade your coins. You want to get lots of the same type of thing. You want to get lots of different sets so you can get special heroes and abilities and whatnot. But it's just really engaging the whole time through. Plays fairly quickly. I like the look of it too. I like those little like charcoaly kind of sketched little dwarves, trolls. And I don't know. There's so much fun with Nidavellir. I like teaching it to people. It works well with a large group. And I found that it surprisingly works well with just 2 players too, because you're setting the 3 bids simultaneously and then revealing them. There's enough happening that it keeps 2-player interesting. So, yeah, I want to play this one more. Number 57, Nidavellir.
Nice.
Nice. All right. My number 57 is I guess kind of a sequel to another game. It is Namiji. Namiji?
Namiji, yeah, you got it.
Namiji? Did I nail it?
Probably.
Great, excellent. I've decided it's Namiji. This is a point-to-point movement game. I don't remember what argument won on what we call that, where you can go as far as you want, and whoever's in the back,
It's
goes
called the
next.
ratchet and
I
clank
say if you're asking
mechanism.
Tom, he'll
Right, yeah.
ratchet.
So whatever we decided to call it, but yeah,
Nobody calls it that.
So it's a point-to-point movement where you can go to different locations, and that gives you some action that you're going to take. And again, you're balancing: am I going to build up this landscape of the whale, or am I going to go fishing, or am I going to fill out my grid? So you're kind of balancing a couple different things as you go, and end game trigger. Get to the end of the path, the ratchet. whatever it's called.
There you go.
Yeah,
Where
the
the car
wrench.
explodes.
Complete your ratchet, and and then you count up your points and you win. So it's really simple to teach, but I feel like it has a good depth to it where you're trying to balance, okay, am I really going to go hard into the fishing, or am I going to do a little bit of everything? But you can't do everything, especially if somebody takes it and then they see you're going. And that I swear those last like 2 turns is a lot of hate selection necessarily, but I might have definitely done something to take something away from Mike, and he was angry, and I have no regrets. So my number 57, Namiji.
Angry Mike.
Wendy, for your 57, how are you going to offend Mike?
Yes, number 57.
I'm pretty sure Mike would never
Mike is gonna
touch
quit.
the game that I picked for 57 with a 10-foot pole. So that's how I offend him, is by making him play it. No, Lisboa is my number 57. And this is a big, heavy Vital Lacerda game, and it is a very interesting theme. So one thing about Lacerda is that his games are dry Euros, but mechanically they tie intensely into whatever the theme they are. And so the theme of this is the town of Lisboa in Portugal, I believe, was hit by a fire, an earthquake, and a tsunami, like all kind of around the same time. And it just got leveled and destroyed. And so in this game, you are working with the person in charge, the prime minister, essentially, and you're trying to help build up. But everyone is kind of competing because you want to gain the most favor as you're building it up so that you can win, because the people like you more because you help the city the most, but you also want to earn money and, make good things happen. And so what's really cool about this game is a lot of the different mechanisms and elements that go on in it. So you're playing a card every round, but you can either choose the action of that card. Each card also has some alternate actions that you can take instead, or you can tuck it and kind of do an engine build thing. And so there's just a lot of really good decisions going on. There's a lot that's affected by what you do. The price of things and what stuff costs to build changes. When you're building, you get extra bonuses for the type of rubble that you've removed. So if you've helped with the earthquake rubble, or you've helped with the fire rubble, or whatever, like that adds to your wigs, your importance, or your popularity, or whatever you want to call it, throughout the game.
Wigs.
And so
Let's go with wigs.
it's wigs.
Straight up victory points this game are called wigs.
Wigs. Yeah. So there's so much going on, and it's so thinky, it's so crunchy, but I feel like it's not overly complex in the way that it's thinky and crunchy. Like I really enjoy it, and it works with my brain, and I think it's tons of fun. So Lisboa is my number 57.
Roy just nodding politely.
Euro, wigs,
I'm glad that game
points.
exists for you.
Cool. My 57 is, shocker, another area control game. But this is a very deterministic one, and that is Small World. But not just any Small World, Small World of Warcraft.
It's a small world of
So
Warcraft.
I really enjoy Small World. You have all these different factions with different powers, and depending on how the different factions can get paired up with different powers means they're kind of like work in different ways. And the fact that it has that World of Warcraft theme on it. My exposure to World of Warcraft is mostly through Hearthstone, so it's kind of like this weird like position on all the stuff, but it's funny to see all the little NPC Murlocs out there, and you're going out and fighting them off and trying to overcome your opponents in different areas to gain gold or points in the game, and just trying to figure out where your target is, who you need to be taking out because they're gaining too many points, and be like, okay, I'm going to put guys here and destroy this, but then I'm going to go here and get this, and just trying to figure out how to maximize the points you're getting from round to round, and then also deciding when your faction is done and not worth keeping on the board anymore and going into decline, so that way you can gain more powers and a whole new faction with a bunch more units to put out on the board. I've really enjoyed playing this, and it's a lot of fun, and I think the World of Warcraft theme elevates Small World for me just because I have a little bit more, it's not just as generic a fantasy, it's like, oh, it's Warcraft fantasy, so that's kind of cute.
Is it, how similar is it to base? Is it really just a re-theme like Skin?
I don't think it's completely
or
re-theme. It's a little bit different, but they also have a little bit of the Horde versus Alliance in there, so you get like a bonus if you're attacking like the opposite like allied things and stuff like that. And then there's neutral people as well and stuff like that. So it has a little bit more of that like Warcraft lore in there, I guess. So it makes it kind of interesting.
Okay.
So. But yeah, that's my 57. Small World of Warcraft.
I have not played this, but I have played Warcraft. Like I grew up playing Warcraft 2, and I love the music from it.
But have you played World of Warcraft?
No, I've not played WoW.
Anyway, job's done.
I was in college. I had no life.
You messed up.
Yes, me
Smash a car
lord.
into it. Smash a car into it.
Smash cars into orcs.
All right, here's a game that's been on my list before. At number 56, Dead Man's Draw. I love this push your luck little card game.
It's a crossover, right? Did I already say this?
Did you already
I
say
did
this?
this, yeah.
Spoiler?
Look at your list.
What?
Check it
What?
twice.
She had it.
Yeah.
Oh.
83. 83.
Well,
56.
this game is better than even Wendy said. I love it. It is. Oh yeah, I remember you talking about this because Friedemann Friese described this game as the inspiration for his like fast forward series, where you have a deck of cards and you just start flipping cards and it teaches you the game, because that he genuinely attributes that to this game. He shuffled up the cards one game night. He's like, I don't feel like teaching rules. Bada 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 boom. Stop or bust. Get powers as you reveal cards. So fun. It is. Unlike most of the push your luck games I like, this one you can really mess with the other people at the table. I got a sword card. I'm going to grab your cannon. I'm going to blow up Roy's card, and then it's going to happen right back to me.
I'm like,
But at its core, it's the flip over cards, trying not to match things. Very, very fun, and there's plenty of ways to mitigate stuff, whatever, within that little framework. So, if you like push your luck little games like this, I think this
with
is
explosions.
with explosions and swords and hooks.
There
Yeah.
are cars.
What with the cars?
All day.
All right, so anyway, that's my number 56, Dead Man's Draw.
All right, my number 56 is a variation on a game I've already talked about, and yes, I did consider them separately because I like them that much and I wanted to. So my number 56 is Chronicles of Crime 1400. So I like the 1400. I really like what this one does different is you have the little dog, and he can go out and for example, if you find a piece of fabric, you can have him smell it, and then he'll go out and find that location. Oh, that person's over here, so he can kind of go help you find and discover things. And I really think that brought, it was a very small change, but it was just a neat element to it, and I think that was kind of unique to this. And
There's something about adding dogs to these board games that just like make them endearing.
yes, I mean,
Like, it's the
dogs
real
are
thing.
better than most people in general.
I don't
And
know
so
a dog.
I love
I'm
dogs
out.
so much. Yeah, I put a dog in it, and I'm like 50% more.
If you like it, then you
interested.
should have put
So-
a dog in it.
Chronicles of Crime
1400.
1400. I really like it.
It also has that vision thing, right? So
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's just really cool. Yeah. So it's the same as the Chronicles of Crime. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the vision thing, like look in the room. Yeah. So you can also see vision. So in this one,
Right, so you have a little bit of
your
snippets of the
special
story.
abilities, right? You go to sleep and you see this vision, and so you are kind of inferring stuff from that as well through the story, which is I think a really interesting way to glean clues. So yeah, you're still talking to people and gathering information, but it kind of gives that insight. Like I think they're lying because that doesn't sound like what they're doing. And so you can infer a little bit more. And I think that was really
Chronicles of Crime
neat.
is
So
fun.
Chronicles of Crime 1400 with a
Good
dog.
stuff. With a dog. My number 56 used to be my number 3 game. It is now my 56. It's gone down a lot, and that is Terraforming Mars. I used to love this game so much. We played it all the time, and then I realized that I could never beat Chris.
and then he ruined it for you.
What can I
Ever.
say?
No, I still really love this game. It just doesn't make it to the table. I think that's one of the big reasons that it's lower on my list. And also, maybe another Terraforming Mars game might have replaced it in my mind in a lot of ways. But that's in the future. You shall see. But Terraforming Mars, you're trying to do exactly what it says. You're trying to terraform Mars, you're drafting cards, and you're building all these cool things, and you're creating this amazing income engine of heat and power and money and resources and tools and stuff. It's wonderful. There's so much awesome going on in this game where you want to build everything and you can't. And I love it, and it's great. And I don't know. There's a lot to say about it, but Terraforming Mars is just so much fun, and now I want to play it again and maybe move it up on my list.
That's the hard thing about these top 100s.
Well, as
It's
soon as I
like,
talk about something, I'm like,
I know, I don't play enough games.
I want to play it again.
so good. But yes, I can't ever beat Chris. That's all. So that's my number 56. How do you feel about that, Chris?
He feels like a winner, honestly.
Yeah.
Just a
He's
straight up
great. He
winner.
feels pretty good
Exactly.
about it, I'd say, yeah.
That's the ultimate compliment. You're so good at a game that you make me despise it.
Also, the Prelude expansion in this is a must for me. And
I
I
think
love
most
it.
people,
and
yeah.
every other expansion that does that same kind of thing, I now call a Prelude expansion because of this game. Like it,
Yeah.
such beautifulness of starting out a little bit stronger with more specialized stuff. It's great.
Very nice.
That's my number 56, Terraforming Mars.
My number 56 is another collectible card game, but this would be like the collectible card game that started it all, and that is Magic the Gathering. So Magic the Gathering is a game, a lot of people know what Magic is, but I've played Magic in a ton of different ways, and I still really enjoy it. I mean, I played Commander, I play in tournaments as standard, like way back in the day. I played a bunch of, I play Pauper now, so you play with like all commons and things like that, and I enjoy the game that way more because you're not breaking the bank. But I just played Jumpstart with Tom just the other day. I really enjoy all the different ways you can play Magic. You can draft it. When we were playing the Comic Hunters game the other day, I was like, oh, I learned a bunch of these drafts from drafting Magic in a bunch of different ways. Playing Cube and stuff like that. There's so many ways to play Magic the Gathering. And it is a game that, if you're playing it seriously, is extremely expensive. I used to play in tournaments and things like that for this a bit. And it gets out there, and you can have a lot of fun with it, trying to match up all the combos and build the perfect deck to take out your opponents. But then set rotation happens and you lose all your money.
We went to
But it's fun.
We went to a convention with a friend that had played Magic the Gathering like years and years and years before, and he's like, "Oh, there's gonna have a tournament or something there." So we decided to go and be a part of it. But because his deck was like 7 years old,
It was definitely not
it
legal,
was
right?
destroyed. It was terrible.
Well, it gets even worse, like if you start playing, oh, I'll play in the tournament where I can play with my older cards, but then people can play even older cards that you don't have access to, that those cards get extremely expensive at that point. But there's a lot of strategy and tactics in this game, and I really have enjoyed playing through a bunch of the different stuff in it. And there's so many people that are a part of the tabletop and board game industry that come from playing a ton of Magic or being a part of Magic in some way. And it's interesting to see how much like it has influenced board gaming as a whole. I mean, there's
It also
so many things
keeps
it's
a
influenced.
lot of board game stores alive.
Yeah.
Like it's
So-
there. It's
The
the
brick and
lifeblood
mortar
of them.
stuff, yeah.
And this will go up and down on my top 100 depending on how recently I've been playing it here or there. But you know, it's,
Right, yeah, Terraforming. I mean, it happens with so many of these games where
Yeah.
like, I haven't played in a few years, but I know I love it. And then you play it and you're like, ah!
yeah.
We're
Well,
not
opposite.
talking about it, or-
But I don't know. I find it opposite sometimes. Is like I haven't played it in a while, as I'm thinking and like kind of ranking. Oh, I forgot how much I loved that. You know, so it
Yeah.
almost gives it that boost because it's like I miss playing it so much. You know, so it's like the excitement versus.
Yeah,
the
I
memory.
need
feel
to.
like
I
it can
need
go
to.
either way.
I need to not
Yeah.
get back into Magic because it's too expensive. But yes, I am a blue-black player, mostly black. But yeah, there you go.
You're a bruiser.
Bruiser, Demir, or whatever it's called. Anyway, 56, Magic the Gathering.
Whoops.
Number 55. This is that roll and write game that I was talking about. Roy is now going to lose respect for the entire rest of my list because this is where it begins.
No, it's not over 50. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, there's probably something else coming up. I don't know. I don't know, actually. But anyway, number 55 is Super Mega Lucky Box. This is a very recent one. Phil Walker Harding design. Really love him as a designer, his philosophy. This game is so simple. This is like almost bingo levels of simple, but it's just really exciting. You flip over a card, and it says a number. You have a few cards in front of you with a little grid of numbers, and you just cross it off. And once you cross off a row or column, you get a bonus. It's just that little bit of like dopamine hit. You're like, yes, I'm almost there. Yes, I crossed off a whole column. Yes, I get a star. Oh, I can't wait to get 3 stars. Like everything about this game is just forward-moving, very fun, very simple. I like the weird Schoolhouse Rock look to it and everything
Yeah,
too.
oh, that's what it's reminding me. I was like, what is it? Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, 100%.
Gosh.
Yeah. It's so fun. You can teach this to pretty much anybody, and they will have fun playing it. There's very low barrier to entry, and if they've ever heard of bingo, you got it. Right? They know how to play. So that's my number 55.
A22.
Nice. My number 55, I'm sorry, Roy, is a roll and ride as well.
I'll start really judging you if they're over 50. It's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No comment.
Great. Fantastic. My number 55 is Saint Malo. I have played so much of this recently, mostly because I found a solo variant online and I wanted to try it out, and so I've really, really enjoyed this. But in Saint Malo, it kind of gives me that Euro feel a little bit when I'm playing this one.
Yeah, just look at
It
it.
is, right, yeah. It is not very pretty.
Teal Euro.
Yeah, exactly. It's not beige. So it's a grid completion. This grid represents your village. You have the 5 dice, and you roll them, and you're going. So Yahtzee style, you get 3 rolls, and then you get to choose one symbol, and however many of that symbol you have in your final roll is kind of the strength or how much of something you get to do. So you're building up your defenses, you're building churches, you have merchandise, you're putting different people, in your city. And so again, kind of that multiple different things you can do, different strategies you can go with. You want to do a little bit of everything, but you can't do everything. Balance. But what I would really like about this one too is they're not pirates. I have pirates on the brain. They are pirates? They are pirates? Mike says they're pirates. They're pirates. I'm Team Mike right now.
Anything's a pirate if you try hard enough. Or if you smash a car into it.
Is this like Team Jacob Edward thing? Like, I'm confused.
So in this one, pirates are, and when there's a certain number of swords, that kind of counts up, and so for everybody. And when you get a certain number of the swords, then the pirates attack, and so you have to have your defenses up, nothing happens, or if you don't have enough, then it ends up hurting you and costing you points. And so this one's also a really nice tension where there's points you're getting throughout the game and end game points. And I like that as well in these roll nights because you kind of see everyone building up and the different strategies that are going, but then there's always that end game surprise as well, and I really appreciate that in this one. So yeah, I played, like I said, a lot of this lately. Number 55, Saint Mallow.
I like that Santa Claus is on the cover of the box too.
Santa Claus is pirate in town.
Oh, does kind of look like him.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you make a
What a
drab, dry
crusty
Euro
old
game
fella.
look fun. Put Santa on it.
That's why I like it, I guess.
Lovely. All right, my number 55 is a crossover with Chris, and I honestly thought it was going to be higher on your list.
Oh.
It was 53 on mine, so it's gone down 2 whole points.
Uh-oh.
Big drop.
It's fallen.
This is Ethnos.
Ooh. Wait.
Oh,
I don't think Chris has said this yet.
it was Roy, wasn't it?
It wasn't
Was it
me?
Roy?
Roy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then it is higher.
That's why.
No, it's totally not on Chris's list.
list.
Spoiled Chris's list for us.
Gosh.
Jeez, where's the suspense these
Don't
days?
know where things are. Okay. Well, anyways, Ethnos. Really enjoy this game. It's an area majorities game, which I don't normally love. Like, I'm hit or miss with area majorities. I'm very lukewarm about them. But I really enjoy the card play of this. And so as you are collecting suits of either the same color or the same race, whatever is the leader, and if it's the same color, you can choose whichever card you want to be your leader. But basically, each race has a special ability that they do. And so you have this interesting balance of, I want to use a special ability, so I want to get a set down quickly. But also, your larger sets score more points. And so you're having this interesting balance of, I want lots of points, but I want to use the abilities. Also, to get another, what do you call it, like another piece on an area that has majority, you have to increase. You have to get more than other people. And so it's really fascinating the way that it works and the balance of it. Also, it's super quick. The turns are very easy. Draw a card, play a set. Like, it's very simple, easy. It goes up to a large player count. There's a lot that I like. There's a lot I like about this, I guess.
This won't be on my list.
Any other thoughts, Roy?
I like
Ready
it.
to
We
share
already
it on
talked
your-
about it,
yeah,
yeah.
all right,
It's
so
great.
Like
what
it.
do you want?
It's
Have you
great.
played this, Camilla?
I have.
Okay. So that is Ethnos, number 55.
So my 55 is another collectible game. It's also a Marvel game, and it's a game that I've played a mass amount of, and that is HeroClix. It's also DC as well. So HeroClix is fun because you have all these different miniatures. It's a miniature collectible game where you're opening up booster packs
Those are cool.
that have all sorts of different heroes in it. And then they have like these stat dials that have all sorts of different powers on them.
like
So as
that.
people take damage, it changes up the powers that they have. Also, they try to make the characters extremely thematic based on like the stats and like the powers they have towards that superhero. You have like a sheet that says all the powers, and I know for a lot of people it's probably like difficult to learn all of those powers, but I've played this for so long. I played it when it first came out. I played it in a ton of tournaments all over the place, and I've really had a lot of fun playing HeroClix. They've changed it up over the years, trying to make it even more thematic for each character, so it gets kind of crazy being like, what does your character have? Oh, your character has this or that. But I've had a blast playing it, and it's a very much a tactical miniatures game of you're playing on a grid, running around a city trying to take out the other team. And it's just cool to be able to play with the Flash next to Wolverine, next to Batman, next to some other crazy, like, never heard of Marvel character, you know? A lot of my, like, Marvel knowledge actually comes a lot from this game just because I played so much. I'm like, oh yeah, that character's, Black Adam's really good in that. It's like, who's Black Adam? Oh, well, he's this one character, you know? It's really cool to see all the different characters come out. I used to have Shazam that I'd run around and beat people up with all the time. It's just a lot of fun, and a lot of my memories are playing with all these different crazy superheroes from all sorts of different comic book lines. They had a lot of indie comics in there too, so people would have like just all sorts of crazy stuff.
But did you
Lobster
have...
Johnson running around beating people up, you know. So
That's pretty good there. Did
Yeah.
you ever have an arm fall off boy?
Arm fall off boy, that was just if the glue wasn't good enough on the miniatures, you know.
His superpower was really he would detach his arm and hit people with it like a club.
I
But
can't tell if you're joking.
Neither can I.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
not
I want
joking.
to know if you're joking.
We used to play gigantic like battle royale games of this with like a bunch of different people, and it's all based off point value. So somebody plays Superman, that's like 300 points. That's like the entire cost of like somebody else's entire team. They'd have like 6 people. One person would have 1 Superman.
Arm fall off boy is negative 40 points.
And I just remember like very much a game of somebody like running up and just smashing the crap out of Captain America with Superman, and just him just being splattered against a wall. And like, I love this game. I really like HeroClix. It's a fun to play, and just crazy matchups of superheroes. My 55.
There you go.
Number 54 for me is a relatively new game, even though it did make Mike's most anticipated games of the year list twice in a row, I think, or best game of the year list. This is a game called Furnace.
Poor Mike.
I'm sorry, Mike. I love you, man. Who loves you, baby? Furnace. Look at that. Look at that cover. It's
Look at
going to
that
be a dry Euro
jawline.
game about the Industrial Revolution. I'm going to love it. This is a game that I think could even climb higher for me just the more you play it. Very cool action selection / bidding / compensation kind of mechanisms. Each player has a special player power, which I was even surprised by, and they're quite different. They're all very fun to kind of just mess around with, and I like that once the action action selection phase is done, you just start booping and bopping the cards and turning things into other things and turning things into points. It's really satisfying, so I hope that we get this one played more and that it climbs higher. My number 54, Furnace.
I've not played this one, but I've heard a lot, people say that this is really interesting because there's times that you don't want, you want the compensation action rather than the real one, and so it's an
Absolutely.
interesting tension.
get
So I thought that was
resources
okay. Is that what it is?
You
Yeah,
need
it was
to
like
turn in and boop and bop to make
so.
stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that that's a really cool. So anyway, haven't
Yeah.
played it. Interested. My number 54. I really like the turn structure in this game. It's a cooperative. It's not survival. Okay, it's Atlantis Rising. I guess it's kind of survival because you're like trying to escape Atlantis as it's sinking, so you want to survive by running away.
call it a
Anyway,
survival
yeah,
game,
right. So
yeah.
it's a survival game. Yeah, Atlantis Rising. I really enjoy this game. It's so you have the Atlantis. Board out, or the island out, and you have your workers. You have one main worker and the little ones as well, and so you go out to these different locations to try and gather resources, convert resources in order to build this portal. I was like time capsule,
machine?
but it's not a time, so a portal in order to get off the island here. But the island is slowly sinking, you know, and so you have the board. It has these pieces that turn over, and the actions get weaker the further in you go. You can go to anywhere. So it's this interesting balance of, am I going to go further out on, you know, really down the peninsula and get a more powerful action, but maybe that worker will, maybe that part of the island will flood, and so I don't get to take that action. And I think that is what I really like about this game, is that structure, is you choose where you're going to send all your workers, and then the island floods, and then whoever's left actually gets to take their island, or take their action. And so I think that just creates a really interesting tension where it's like, we really need this. The only way to win this is we need 3 more golds, you know, or we need this ore, and we still have a whole nother step in order to convert it into Atlantium. So I need this weaker action, or I need a more powerful action, but if it floods, then there's no chance at all. So it's a little bit of that push your luck, because that island floods in the middle of you selecting and taking the action. And I love the tension of it. It's a lot of fun. It's really hard, you know, and I like that, but it's also doable. It's a really sweet spot where it can be punishing, can feel really cruel, can feel like there's no way to win, but then I've won quite a bit of this game, you know, and so it's a really sweet spot of hard, but also doable. So yeah, Atlantis Rising.
I think you might like Furnace if I lied and told you that it's about surviving Atlantis, because you sound like you're just converting resources and stuff into a portal. That's
Also,
what
if it
Furnace is all
wasn't beige,
about.
yeah. I make it look like this, and I'm in.
No, it's going to be beige.
He's got a cool dapper hat though.
Yeah, he can keep it.
Yeah, he needs that in Atlantis.
Yes.
A flotation device. All right, my number 54 was number 46 previously, so gone down a little bit. And this is Roll for the Galaxy. This is a crossover with Chris, correct?
Surprise, surprise. Yes.
Okay, not Roy. Just making sure. You kind of look like the same people. I get confused. You like the same type of games. I get confused. No,
Also not true.
Roll for the Galaxy. Chris already talked about it. I love this game. It's kind of like a second type of game based on Race for the Galaxy, but I like this one so much better. You have dice in front of you, behind a little player shield. You roll them, and then based on what shows, you get to choose to activate one action in a round. But then any dice that you put under other actions, if someone else activates that action, you get to use all those dice as well. And the dice determine the strength. But there's a lot of mitigation and stuff going on. And essentially, you're trying to build a bunch of planets or settle them or something, and then ship goods and all that good stuff. So I don't know, there's so much fun going on, and I really enjoy the way that the dice are used. So that is Roll for the Galaxy, number 54.
My number 54 is Game of Thrones, the board game. This is a game all about the Game of Thrones IP, but it's area control. You're trying to take over strongholds to win the game. Lots of backstabbing and messing people over because the actions that you play in this game, you put them face down on the map. And then, like, you have a phase where you put all your actions out. And then after everybody's done putting their actions out, then you flip them over. It could be, there's tokens that allow you to support, like, a location they're at, or even support somebody else who's on another team to help them have extra strength. But then you can also attack people. You can say, oh, I'm going to support you here. But secretly you're attacking them, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of like treachery and backstabbing and betrayal as you would think of in a Game of Thrones style game. Also, it's very deterministic combat as you're putting out these different characters from the game to add strength to your combats and things like that. Lots of bidding mechanisms with power that you gain from different areas on the board. A lot of fun, very thematic to Game of Thrones, and you really have to play it on a high player count for it to be fun, but I have a blast with it, and that is Game of Thrones, the board game.
I don't think my stress would let me survive playing through this entire game.
It can get crazy because I mean it's kind of like a like comes after like diplomacy sort of like mentality of like I said I'm doing this thing but I'm not and you're now dying. Sorry about that. I take your stuff.
I'm dying on the inside.
Yes. Yeah, it's very very cutthroat, but it makes a lot of sense with this theme. So, Game of Thrones.
All right, number 53 is a game that is nothing at all like what Roy just described. My game is Zapotec. This is more up to my speed.
Cutthroat! Oh, sorry.
Golly, I really like this. I like the Mesoamerican theme with the ancient city kind of building theme a lot, and that this particular company, Board and Dice, does a lot of, and other companies do. I like the look of this game. I know Tom's first words out of his mouth in the review was ugly, and I think he's wrong. It looks really cool. It looks cool, especially as you build up more of the pyramids and such. It's a very, very simple game where you basically reveal a card at the same time for turn order, and then you just spend your resources, build up buildings, build up cities, build up pyramids, and you're doing and you're getting these little technology tiles. Oh, everything about it is juicy. But it feels like one of these bigger games distilled down to 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so, and that's what I really like about it. 2 players, you can knock this game out in like 25 minutes. It's so fun to feel like you've gone through a big engine building experience, move up tracks, build up endgame bonus stuff, but to do it so quickly and even solo, this game works really well. I like pretty much everything about it. So 53, Zapotec.
This one was disappointing to me.
I liked it, but I kind of wanted it to be a longer, richer game. Like, I felt like there was stuff there that I could never quite do.
But there's so many of those already.
Yeah.
You know, this one, it doesn't let you do everything. You have to kind of laser focus and get really good at certain parts of it, and then kind of tangentially be good at other parts.
I think I just expected to like be building the temples more, and like they were such a I think it was disappointing to me because it's not what I thought it was,
The pyramids in the center of the board. I feel like it takes effort and almost group effort to really build up a pyramid and make it kind of cool.
Right. So it's group effort that like one person really benefits from. So therefore, no one really does it because I don't know. Yeah, it was a weird balance to me. So anyway, also my 53 is Karuba. Karuba is a simultaneous tile placement. You have a grid in front of you. Man, today is like my day of grids. I just realized that. It's like the 4th or 5th one,
You're so
right?
pretty.
Jeez. I like that one. Well done.
Oh, gold star.
All right. You did good.
That was slightly patronizing.
Not at all patronizing. No. So you have a grid in front of you, and you're trying to get your meeple to your temple. And so it kind of has this bingo feel to it, where a tile is turned over, and then everyone has to place that same tile on their board. So it's that same. Everyone's working with the same information, and person wins whoever kind of does it best, really, based on where they're trying to get, and you're collecting gems along the way and different things like that. But if you understand bingo and it's simultaneous, everyone's going at the same time, a lot of really good things going for this. It's, again, another really quick one. I really like Karuba.
It's such a great game.
It is. It is. You're disappointed it's not on your list, aren't you?
I am.
You should be.
You really like
so,
the card game too.
I enjoy that one a lot for like a 10-minute
super
game.
quick.
Yeah, for like a
Okay.
really
Yeah.
teeny little
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, the original is by and far better.
It's a fun puzzle.
Oh, I need to play it more. I need to play it again, I guess, more recently. That'd be cool.
Right.
That
yeah.
might bump it
there
up.
you go. Yeah.
All right, my number 53 is. Wow, I have to read this off. Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Sorry, that was a weird big name mouthful. But this is a combination of Castle of Mad King Ludwig and Between Two Cities, and I like it so much better than both. I think it just takes what I love from both games and combines it. So what you're doing is you are building a castle between you and the other player. You're working on it cooperatively with the other players, and after you've moved everything together and everything scores based on what's around it, so you want to make sure that, living rooms are next to not loud rooms, quieter rooms. There's just combinations of things. It's a fun puzzle, but once you puzzle that all out, then it's whoever has the second highest scored castle. Or whatever.
You score the lower of the two you're working on.
Yeah, whatever's the highest points out of the score, the lower the two. So it's fascinating. You have to work on them evenly. You can't just focus only in on one. And so I love the puzzle. I love the way that things combine together. I really enjoy working with the two people next to me, except these two. And it's just a ton of fun.
That's fair.
So
did
I
just
feel like
patronize
it.
That
You
was.
did
I
give me
had
a
that
gold star.
coming. I gave you a gold star.
Gave me a gold star
Yeah, that was kind.
right here. Awkwardly. So anyways, I feel like this game doesn't get enough love. I do really enjoy it. It's tons of fun. So that is number 53, Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Mouthful. My 53 is another Lord of the Rings game, another card game, but not the one I talked about before. This is a cooperative game. This is Lord of the Rings, the card game, the LCG from Fantasy Flight. Yeah, I know, it's a lot. But I really enjoy this game. I think the reason this is so high up on my list is because I recently played this with my dad and had a lot of fun with it. Brought it back out, and I just really enjoy the fact that you're gathering up resources, trying to go through these different objectives and missions, and putting out different progress towards a different quest, but trying to minimize all the different threats, making sure your threat track isn't going up too high, putting out all these cool, like, thematic, beautiful artwork Lord of the Rings characters is just really fun. Getting in there and working very cooperatively together. I play this a lot solo. I played it with my family and my dad and stuff like that, so it's been a blast playing Lord of the Rings, the card game. That's my 53.
There's something special about playing games with an extended family. Like,
Right.
I feel like they mean more.
Yeah. It's just fun, and it's cooperative. I really enjoy those. I really enjoy deck building in collectible games and TCGs in general. But then when you get to do that cooperatively,
Yeah.
it just elevates it for me. So
That's really cool.
It's good stuff.
Nice.
good stuff.
My number 52 is a game that I hear almost nobody talk about, which is so sad to me. I like this one a lot. It's called Magnastorm. This is a
it's the
game where
turtle
you have
game.
space turtle robot laboratory machines.
That does look awesome.
It does look really cool. So there's a storm in the middle of the board that's rotating a little bit each round, and you need to build those turtle science labs around on this really inhospitable planet. And you need to also be racing your builder robot around so you can keep building turtle labs before the storm shuts them down. It is a worker placement game. That's kind of what drives it. Over on the left side of the picture, all those yellow like busts, those little yellow like dude top halves, are the workers that you're putting out into these different actions. But the fact that this is a game that has tracks that you move up, that it's a lot of the same production team, I think, as Gaia Project, which is a very, very heavy, dense Euro game. This one is kind of like that Zapotec thing. Like, it's really simplified. It doesn't outstay its welcome. It's not too heady, but it's got a lot of those same things that you would expect from like a heavier Euro game. But you also wrap it up in a really cool theme. You know, I see your eyes are actually like, ooh,
I know.
what
I'm
is
like,
this?
hey, I've never even seen this game or it's wow.
Yeah.
Have
But
you
as-
played this, Roy?
No.
Space Turtles?
Are you aware of this game? I
I'm
feel
just
like
saying,
I'm like
if you're
totally
going to
aware of
have science labs and they're mobile and they're not shaped like turtles, you're doing it wrong.
it.
Absolutely.
Agreed. That
Yeah.
is the new standard.
It's a new
Except
standard.
that you're racing a storm and they're turtles. So.
Well, listen. I mean,
You
if
gonna
you're
build
gonna
a
have a whole
shape of a jaguar?
silence lab,
Whatever.
you know, it's got to be, you know, it's protective.
Kind of reminds me of those bugs.
It's not fast, but
What's
it's protective.
The big bees from the sci-fi movie Alice. You ever see that? Anybody? Never mind.
No.
No.
You've seen a movie that
I've
we
seen
haven't.
a movie.
Nice.
How about I've seen a movie that no one has? Okay. Well,
Someone
good,
says
and
they
it
should make
has.
Magna Storm starring The Rock.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Great. I would watch it. I like The Rock. He's ridiculous.
Average scientist Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm here to science.
And ride around in a turtle lab.
Nice.
All right, that's my 52.
My 52 is paleo something subtitle.
It's a diet?
No. No
Ein
subtitle. I thought it was something.
Kooperativ Abendspiel von Peter Rustemeyer. That's
There's your subtitle. Yes, mine is Paleo. Paleo is a cooperative game in which you are trying to survive and complete an objective, and that objective is going to depend on which modules you've shuffled into your deck. So on your turn, everybody at the same time draws the top 3 of their cards, but they don't look at the face of the card. They're only looking at the back of the card. And the back of the card is going to give you some clue on what might be on the front. So for example, if it's a forest, it might be an opportunity to get wood or might be an opportunity to get meat because it's, you know, in the forest and the wood.
Or
and
the
you know,
trees might eat you.
Or the trees, or it might be some poisonous berries that kills one of your people, you know, so you're
or an
trying to
exploding
balance.
car, anything.
Yeah, anything can happen. And so you're trying to balance this, getting clues from the back, and you need to complete certain objectives, but also having to work together. Okay, guys, I have 2 mountains and a campfire action, so maybe I can stay back and make some tools. What are you going to do? And it has this really neat mechanism as well on a lot of the cards where you can take your action or you can choose to help somebody else, and then whoever's down in your tableau, your people, they would get to use their special skills. It's like, okay, so I'll go to the forest, but oh no, you really need help in that mountain, so never mind, I'm not going to go in the forest, I'll send my person instead to help you, you know, and you get to use my symbol, so you have a higher chance of succeeding. And so I really think that this game pushes that cooperation, and it's not limited communication, but it's that like limited knowledge making a decision. And so you're trying to make the best decision you can in order to further the objective, but then when that reveal happens, your plan might be completely different, and it really has a high level of cooperation. I love the variability with the different modules that you can mix in. You know, on this one, are we trying to take out a giant wolf, or are we trying to, I can't think of another example of one of them right now, but there are others. You know, are we trying to take out all the mammoths or something like that? You know, I mean, there's different things you can do, or survive the night, things like that. So yes, and there's lots of death, lots of poisonous berries, lots of wolf attacks, and it is fabulous.
So at one of the Dice Tower retreats last year, you taught this to every person
I'm
at the
pretty
retreat
sure.
except for me.
I'm pretty sure I taught this game like
She didn't
8
teach it to
times
me.
that retreat.
And I played with her a lot.
I taught it to no yees.
These are not allowed to paleo.
Sorry, Jonathan Yi, whoever you are out there.
An unfortunate
Godspeed.
last name. Yeah, so my number 52 is Paleo.
Nice. My number 52 was number 18 before, and that is Altiplano. This is a cute little llama game, but it is a bag. Not so little. No, it is a bag building game where you are trying to collect. Essentially, your workers or your actions are in your bag, and so you're pulling them out, and you get to see what you want to do on each round. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to produce goods and fulfill contracts and build up your warehouse, and it's got a lot of really cool things. And it's often compared to Orleans. But what I like about this is that you completely empty your bag. There's a little, I don't know, basket that you put your little tiles in until your bag is empty, and then you get to fill it back up. And as a deck builder player, I enjoy that because then I feel like I get to see everything in my bag instead of putting it all back in and just kind of randomly pulling whatever out. But I really enjoy it. It's super fun. I enjoy the process of building up and getting more action spaces around and things that you can do. It's just really, really cool, and the llama theme is adorable. Like, it's super fun. So if I had my choice between this and Orleans, I would pick this probably any day.
Because of theme?
Not just because of the theme, because of mechanics.
Going through the bag all the way.
Mechanics,
Theme
Camilla.
llamas.
And theme. So that's my number 52 is Altiplano.
I know you guys were worried that I wouldn't have any space games this entire section.
It's okay, Chris had one.
But
Space llama games.
Or
I do have a
turtles.
space game, and this is a game that Chris actually said he wanted to play, and this is
Animals.
Alien Frontiers.
Yeah.
This is a
okay.
dice placement game where you have dice that you're rolling out, trying to get different like sets of symbols on the dice to be able to eventually get more dice or be able to build up like little alien technologies, but mostly to be able to take over a planet that is down on the board. You're trying to build like little colonies that you can put down out there, and those will give you special abilities as well that'll help you manipulate dice in other ways also. It's actually a really simple game. There's like 2 different types of resources, and you're using those resources to build more dice and build your colonies down there. It's really quick, like fast-paced game as you're going through all the different stuff. You roll a 6, you get to destroy your ship and be able to land it on the planet and build a colony out faster, or you can push a little colony all the way down and then be able to put it out. It's an area control game that I have a lot of fun with, but it's really simple to play. Alien Frontiers is kind of like the precursor to Kickstarter. This is one of the first games that really was on Kickstarter and kind of proved that model could work.
This is what Kickstarter games used to look like.
Right, and this
A
didn't
map and some little
did not
pieces.
make much money on Kickstarter compared to like what you think of making money on Kickstarter
Right.
is now. But that whole being able to get funds before a game actually came out ended up just building up and ramping up all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I love Alien Frontiers. It's been a blast to play, and I've played it a ton of times, and I still really enjoy it. So
Set it
Alien
up.
Frontiers.
Let's go.
52. It'd be really easy to teach.
Yeah, our
so.
51s can wait. Let's just play.
Okay, I'll go get it.
Live. We'll play it live!
All right, let's close out this section. This is another game that I don't really hear people talk about. A big, really cool Euro game called Ground Floor. Particularly, we have this, the 2nd edition. This is the Spielworks copy. This is a. I really love the way that board looks. It's very striking to me. It's a worker placement game. You are making kind of economic decisions to build up your little player board. You're actually building up your skyscraper. The taller your building is, the more victory points you have.
Those pieces are super cool the way that works.
Yeah, but that art, that I don't know what you would call it, like that street art style of it almost is really striking because I don't know, it's surprising for a game like this to look this sharp. Most economic games look like garbage. I really like this one though, and there's a lot of kind of like Roy, you mentioned Comic Hunters. It's like a few different ways of doing drafting. This game is almost like a few different ways to implement worker placement in the same game.
Interesting.
You put discs you put your workers into each of those buildings, and each one functions a little bit differently from the other. Some of them are kind of like an auction. Some of them are like trying to go first in turn order. Some of them you want to go later. Some of them you want to bump out people. Some of them you want people to bump you out. It's really interesting. It's like a hodgepodge of worker placement all in one game. It makes for a really satisfying experience. I love it. So this is Ground Floor, my number 51.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
My number 51 is a game that has a lot of, it's a newer game, I think, but it carries a lot of nostalgia for me because growing up, we played 2 games, really. We played Racco and we played Mastermind. Like those are like the 2 games of my childhood.
That's
right?
a good childhood.
You know, right? I felt good about it. And so my number 51 invokes kind of that Mastermind feeling, and this is Rising 5.
I knew it.
You knew it, yeah. I think it does it really, really well. Where you start out with a really random setup of symbols, and as you're going, you're gleaning information and trying to adjust those symbols to match a certain code at the end. You have different cards that you're going to draw, and as you play and move those characters around the board, you are fighting monsters, you're collecting artifacts, which give you special powers, special abilities, all by trying to manage this task before the sun. I don't know what it is, sets or
Sets, and then you
whatever.
freeze to death or something?
Yeah. There's something with the sun, and you have to make sure that doesn't go all the way down. There's a track.
Aren't you the
There's a
theme-
track.
aren't you the theme
I know,
person?
but I was distracted by Mastermind and nostalgia. So
Symbols in the right order. Done.
Mechanics all the way.
oh yeah. So yeah, I really like this one. Again, it just has that. It has that nostalgia feeling for me, but it's done really well. I feel like the app, it's not an add-on, I think it's actually a website that you go to, but maybe it is an app, but it's really well integrated where you scan it, and so it's tracking that for you, and you can go back and look and see, what was right and what was wrong, so that you can ultimately try to solve this puzzle down here, and I really, really enjoyed that. So it's nostalgia, it's very comfortable, but still challenging, it's
I've worked here for a year and a half and heard so many of you all talk about how cool this game is, and I still haven't tried it. So
I've worked here less time than you, and I played it.
Sounds like somebody has the right friends. I'm saying. She knows the guy.
I need to know a guy.
I grew up playing Mastermind in our minds. Like, we didn't ever have a physical board of it.
Oh,
We just,
Really?
my mom would just be like, okay, colors are red, white, blue, green. There's 3 spaces. Make a guess. And like, we would just play.
Like
in
a
our
road
like
trip
on a
game.
road
Yeah.
trip or before
that's
bed.
crazy.
Like, that's just how we played. And so, like, that's.
Huh.
I didn't realize it was like a real game until I was
Really?
like a teenager.
Oh, wow.
Z says it's on, Chris.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Making it
Oh.
happen.
So good nostalgia. Also Racco too.
Racco,
Good,
right?
Good
Gosh,
stuff.
what a,
Man.
what a terribly amazing game. It's so
So
bad.
many
and I
great
love it.
choices, right? It's the best.
So terrible as a
All
game. I
right.
love
Well,
it.
my number 51 is Unlock with an exclamation point. Unlock is such a cool series of games. It is an escape room in a box, and you're just trying to figure out puzzles, and you're trying to follow the cool little storyline as you move from room to room, trying to figure out what's going on. I put Unlock Kids on here because I played this right before I made this top 100, and the Unlock Kids game is fabulous. Fabulous with kids. Like, one of my issues with the regular Unlock games is that you often can't see the little tiny hidden numbers, and there's certain games where it really matters because you might run out of oxygen, you know, and need to find an oxygen canister somewhere, and then you die.
Death.
Mild spoiler. But in this one, those numbers just give you extra points at the end if you find the hidden numbers, so I appreciate that. But I enjoy the idea of escape rooms. I just feel like they're more expensive than the enjoyment I get out of them by going to a real one, unless it's a very cool one. Like, I went to Little Red Riding Hood, the serial killer. She was pretty cool.
Yes.
You had to like stick your hand in this wolf's like eye socket to pull out a key. It was great.
Oh, fantastic.
But anyways,
Theme. I love. Yes. See,
great,
look at you.
creepy. So
learning
good.
you.
But I enjoy these little box ones because it's the puzzle that I love, the puzzle that I have fun with, and this has all of that. So Unlock is my number 51.
Unlock Kids is really
love Unlock.
fantastic.
I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about these is the fact that they're actually like reusable, so you can keep playing them or pass it on to somebody
So
else.
one time we replayed a game with a friend that we didn't realize we'd already played. Took us halfway through before we're like, these puzzles are really familiar.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm not ashamed of. I'll own that mistake. I was like, yeah, let's try this one. I don't think we played it yet.
It was like the generic haunted house looking one.
You should have just been like, we beasted it. Just never let anybody know.
Right.
Well, we still struggled with.
Oh,
There you go.
that's sad.
My 51 is currently number 1 on Board Game Geek, but this is Gloomhaven. I really enjoy Gloomhaven. I love the decisions that you make in it. And this is also like a filler for Gloomhaven and Gloomhaven Jaws the Lion.
I was gonna ask if you combined
It's both for me. I
Okay.
just really enjoy the system. I think Jaws the Lion does a little bit better with the book thing. The fact that you're able to like play that out and you're just able to get into the game that much quicker. But I just enjoy the system of Gloomhaven, being able to make those tough decisions on your cards and being able to slowly upgrade those cards. It is quite a bit grindy to kind of like level up your stuff and do all the stuff and put your character into retirement and get another character out. But I really enjoy the mechanics of how it all comes together. And it's just a great adventure dungeon crawl cooperative game. I mean, people love Gloomhaven and it's for good reason because it's a great game.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Yeah, I wish they could have more adventure tactics leveling up system. Like the quicker, you know, like
Yeah,
gosh,
find
they
those
could
games.
just,
I wish,
they could just
I
have
wish
like
they
a love
had
child.
a
That'd be
speed
fantastic.
run, like an option of a way to like get through Gloomhaven, get all the story, and unlock stuff quicker. I would be
Right.
over
yeah.
the moon with that.
Seriously, if every mission that you succeeded, you just leveled up, and then your character retired sooner.
Right,
you
I-
Yeah.
that's what adventure
Yeah.
tactics are.
I know.
so
I
good.
I wish they would release a rule set that said that, and then I would just like breeze through it real quick. But it's just the fact of like I know people want their 40 hours worth of gameplay. Like
Right.
I
just
play
wanna
a
be
lot of
powerful.
games.
I just want.
I don't need it to be a lifestyle game for me, but
Yeah.
it would be higher if I could play it even faster.
You
Roy
say on
likes
this list
lifestyle
of full
games.
of nothing but lifestyle games.
I know, but yet I can't play all of them. That's why I can't play 40 hours of Gloomhaven because I
Right.
play all these other
Yeah.
games too.
Yeah,
That's
why
fair.
it's unopened.
But yeah, we are halfway through the list. We have made it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
super
There's 50%
exciting.
I am
more.
so excited about my top 50, y'all. Oh
This
my
is
gosh.
this is where it
This is
starts
where
to
it
get
gets
real.
really good.
starts
Halfway
to get
there,
real.
as Bon Jovi would say, it's my life.
It's Chris's life. Anyway, We're gonna get copyright struck for that. Anyway, thank you
You
so
sound
much
just
for
like John
joining
Bon
us.
Jovi.
Thank you so much for joining us on this game. It's a lot of fun, or not game,
Yeah.
talking about
right.
games.
I wasn't going to call you out, but sure.
I was, but I was waiting.
But yeah, we'll see you on the next one, which is going to be tomorrow. So make sure to be back here for that. There's also crowd surfing right after that, so we got to get off of here so we can set that up. So make sure to come back for crowd surfing as well. Anyway, until next time.
Thursday breakfast live tomorrow morning as well.
Yes.
It's always good to eat breakfast live.
Delicious. Anyway, I've been Roy Cannaday.
I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm still Camilla Cleghorn.
I will be Chris Yi.
Let's do it. Thanks, everybody.